I'm a 12th generation North Carolinian. My first ancestor coming to North Carolina in the late 1600s into what would become Bertie County. Um, I say that with an immense amount of pride. Uh, but to admit that I'm a 12th generation anything in this country means that I'm most likely the direct descendant of enslavers. And in my case, I am. I'm the direct descendant of enslavers. Uh, and that's not an easy thing to say. But I grew up in a time where, you know, that flag and that history was revered. And when I look back, I think it was the conflation of that flag with Southern identity. And it came to mean all of these other things. Um, I grew up going to Leonard Skinner shows when they hit, Sweet Home Alabama, and a 100 foot by 50 foot Confederate flag dropped at the back of the stage, and everybody went nuts. And my daddy was one of them. And then I grew up and I read books, and I think about someone like Alexander Stevens, and I'm assuming we all know who Alexander Stevens is, but if we don't, he was the vice president of the Confederacy. And when he was defining what that institution was, he said, its foundation rests, its cornerstone is laid upon the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man, that slavery and subordination to the superior race is his natural and born condition. That's what the man said. That's what he said it defined. So I don't care about any kind of revisionist history that wishes to place it as something else, because it's not that. And I think about the black communities in Jackson County. I think about people who have descendants here who go back hundreds of years. And what every one of you who voted for that is saying is that you revere a moment in time when their ancestors were in bondage. That's what that means. I view your actions as an act of white supremacy. That's what I view it as. I think it's shameful. I think it's. I didn't like what happened before. I didn't like the plaques, but hey, compromise, whatever. Uh, but to have done that with no moment for public comment, to have done that, just on a whim, we're going to do this and make everybody else live with it is shameful. Uh, it's trash. And I thought about writing you, but I've written you before and you don't write me back. Uh, I know that me saying here is not going to change any of your minds, and that the only thing that I can do is vote. Uh, and I will, because that's what I always do. Um, but I also want to take a moment to say it to every one of y'all's faces that voted for this. Uh, that's what that strikes me as. And it's not just me. And all of those people that you supposedly represent, that's what it means to them too. It means that you revere a moment in time when their ancestors were enslaved. That's nothing to be celebrated. And so I wish you would reconsider. At the very least, I wish you would open it up to public comment. If nothing else, it's $13,000 that you just tossed down the drain. Uh, that was a ton of money that went into that, a ton of thought that went into that. I would at least like there to be a discussion where other people can say what they want to say.
I don't blame any ancestor of enslavers, but when we talk about accountability, truth, and the history of this country, we need to make sure that each part is in step with each other and in truth. With that said, anyone who applauds a moment in time when our ancestors were in bondage is showing the utmost disrespect. Anyone who wants to go back to that moment in time and relive it is delusional at best or sadistic at worst. Instead of living in a flawed past, we should be living in a truthful present in order to create a better future for everyone.
Where All the Light Tends to Go by David Joy. If you grew up in or around Southern rural poverty, this book will just stick with you and you will wear it like a jacket or a blanket the whole time you're in it. And even though you want to take that jacket and that blanket off because it's uncomfortable, if you've lived it, seen it, been exposed to it, you can't. And that's how I felt about this book. The writing is exquisite, but it's also raw, kind of nasty, misogynistic, like all the things we don't like about rural Southern poverty. But that's what you need to know, right, to experience this book. Please check it out. It's in its 10-year anniversary. Highly recommend.